and welcome back to Football Made Simple. An old rivalry was reignited at Anfield as Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool hosted Ollie's United. In this top-of-the-league encounter, the winner would finish the weekend on top of the table. In the end, the game ended 0-0, meaning that United stayed top. The XG indicated that the chances were fairly even, 1.2 to 1.19, with neither team taking their chances. The XG time app suggested that Liverpool were dominant for most of the match, with United coming on strong in the final minutes. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. A quick reminder of both sides' formations, courtesy of the amazing OneFootball app. It is the best football app giving you news, stats, transfers, lineups, and anything a football fan would need. And they've been supporting Football Made Simple for a while, so if you want to check them out, just click the link in the description below. Let's start with what Liverpool looked to do in possession, as they dominated with 65%. Liverpool primarily looked to begin short, with Alisson playing just 4 long balls. He would look to find the centre-backs, and in general, United didn't consistently look to press high, ending with a passes per defensive action of just under 20, as they preferred a mid-block. But when they did choose to press high, United often faced some problems. Fernandes would often look to join Rashford in the press, and Fabinho and Henderson looked to split wide, and Alisson pushing higher would form the third man to create a 3 vs 2 advantage against the United front line. And at times, Pogba would then be drawn from his right midfield position into the press on Henderson, which left Robertson and Salah or Mane 2 vs 1 against Wan-Bissaka. So Wan-Bissaka would often look to close down Robertson, and as a result, Lindelof would have to move wide on the cover, which he did manage at times. But with a high line in action during the press, it meant that Lindelof would be 1 vs 1 against one of the wide men, and a ball down the channel would mean he had to match them for pace, which he couldn't, and this led to a big opportunity for Liverpool. And when Liverpool had the ball higher up, their efficiency in midfield allowed them to hold on to the ball. A primary reason for this was despite being an attacking midfielder on paper, in this match, Ollie essentially used Fernandes as a secondary forward with Rashford, as you can see by their similar height up the pitch in the average positions. This was often through Fernandes becoming the second forward in the 4-4-2 to press the centre-backs, meaning that they were 3 vs 2 down. To ease the pressure, Thiago could look to form the third centre-back, and this gave him time away from the crowded midfield, giving him the most touches in the match. And both Fred and McTominay tended to move higher onto the remaining midfielders, growing the space between the lines of midfield and defence, and Firmino constantly looked to drop in to create another 3 vs 2, and he was often free but not found with regularity. More interestingly, Trent could instead be the third centre-back, allowing Thiago higher and lead into some interesting patterns down the right-hand side. Martial, like Pogba on the other side, tended to be drawn into pressing the third man. With Firmino having dropped deeper into the midfield, United were outnumbered, and Salah tended to push Shaw deeper, creating space here. Shaqiri could then look to drop in and immediately receive and turn. But we also saw Thiago move wide, and if a midfielder looked to press him, Shaqiri would then be free high in the half space to receive and look to create. And Thiago moving wide also generally allowed them to create a right-hand side overload, dragging United across to cover. As United were a man down in the midfield, Pogba tended to naturally drift into cover, and Mane dragged Wan-Bissaka centrally. As a result, Trent often looked for the switch into Robertson as he would be free, and he could then push on and look to cross from a dangerous position, which happened a few times. But United looked promising in the transitions from these situations, and it was the main way they created chances. Keeping Fernandes high often paid dividends as he had freedom of movement. He primarily looked to move wide behind one of the fullbacks who had advanced in the attack. And crucially, as Thiago was highly involved in Liverpool's possession phases, the distance between him and Fernandes could grow so that he had space to receive wide. Throughout the 90, he looked for chip balls to Rashford over the high line consistently, and they did get into some good situations. Alternatively, when Thiago was caught out of position in the defensive transition, we saw Pogba drift central and look to carry the ball up the pitch, before looking to release one of Fernandes, Rashford or Martial. And Shaw was also quick to join on the transition, and this led to some good situations, but United were often unable to capitalize. And this transition was United's main attacking threat, and they didn't create much in controlled phases of play. This is because their play usually broke down in their own third, as Liverpool pressed high, with the passes per defensive action of just over 5. From goal kicks, the centre-backs dropped into the box alongside De Gea, while Salah and Mane moved centrally ready to press, where he could be joined by Shaqiri if United did attempt a central ball. Once the ball did become active, under pressure, United often tried to go long to Rashford, looking to take advantage of Henderson in the centre-back position. But this didn't pan out, with Rashford winning 0 aerials. Overall, United would be happy to come away with the point at Anfield and remain top. Liverpool, on the other hand, will be concerned about their recent form and inability to capitalize on the chances they do create. But how do you think the match went, and what else did you notice? If you made it this far, leave a football emoji somewhere in your comment so I can get to yours first. And a big shout out to all my current Patreons, including Shannon Brown, who has recently joined my Ultra tier. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.